Hi, and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Isleta ISD Early Education Preschool and Pre-K and Kinder Virtual Town Hall. I am Ceci Serna, and I am the Early Childhood Instructional Specialist here for the district, and I'd like to welcome some of my friends who will be joining us today. We have Greg and Leslie from our Special Ed department, and then we have Norma from our ALPS department. So we're going to be here to let you know about our amazing preschool, pre-K, and kinder programs and everything you need to know to get registered April 1st so that your child is ready to go. Okay, let's start with these quick notes here. Okay, please note that if you have any questions, you can post them on the chat. And then this session is going to be recorded and it will be posted on our district website. Please add your name and email address also to the chat so that we can follow up with any additional registration information that you may need. So once again, welcome, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, today we're going to talk about, start with definitions of what is pre-K, preschool, and kindergarten, what are some of the requirements, and so that you have a full understanding of what that is. We'll talk about eligibility, which programs do you have to be eligible for, and which ones do you not have to. We'll talk about the curriculum in all three of our programs. We'll look at schedules. We'll answer like which programs are half day, which are full day. We'll let you know where the locations. We have preschool in 6 campuses, and we have pre-K in 17, and then we have kindergarten in all of our elementary campuses. And then we'll talk about enrollment. When does it begin? How do you enroll? And what can we do to facilitate you so that you are registered April 1st and ready to go? Okay, let's talk a little bit about the difference, okay? So the age that your child is by September 1st will determine the grade level that they are enrolled in. That's really important, and that's TEA law, okay? So for your child to enter into kindergarten, your child needs to be 5 years old. And we offer full day kindergarten here in Isleta ISD at all of our elementary campuses. For your child to be enrolled in pre-K, they need to be 4 years old by September 1st, and we offer universal full day pre-K. So here we have full day pre-K. So your child's going to come all day to pre-K. It's universal. You don't have to qualify. And for the schools in Isleta, you don't even have to live within our boundaries because we have open enrollment. And then about 3 years ago, we as a district started offering preschool. Now preschool, your child has to be 3 years old by September 1st, but look at the asterisks on preschool, okay? Preschool in Isleta is a half-day program, and this is the one program that you will need to qualify for, okay? Even though there's not qualifications for pre-K, the clerk is still going to ask you some questions to see if we can receive funding, because there are some ways that we can receive funding for pre-K, so they're still going to ask you questions. But the one you have to qualify for is the preschool half-day program. Okay, so we always like to start with, well, what are the qualifications? So there are seven ways that a child can qualify for preschool, okay? The very first one is if the child is unable to speak and comprehend the English language, if Spanish is their dominant language, then they would qualify. The second one is if they're eligible for free or reduced price lunch. These two are the two most common ways that students qualify. Now you only have to meet one of the 7 for your child to qualify for preschool, okay? If the child is homeless, if the child isn't the child of an active duty member of the armed forces, if the child isn't a member of the armed forces who was injured or killed while serving on active duty, if he is in or has been in the conservatorship of the Department of Family and Protective Services at any time in their life, then they qualify. And then if the child is a person eligible for the Star of Texas Award. So if the parent of the child was a police officer, a firefighter, and they were hurt in the line of duty, a lot of times they are recipients of the Star of Texas Award. And so their children qualify for preschool, okay? So these are the qualifications. A lot of the phone calls that I get are about how would I qualify, so we kind of run through these. I will tell you that the free or reduced price lunch program, the window is pretty broad. So I always tell people, you know, If you think that you may qualify, go ahead and register, and let's let the registrars at the campus run your numbers and see if you qualify, because you'd be surprised. A lot of people actually qualify for free or reduced lunch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over at this point for the next 2 slides to Norma Blasquez, who's going to do a great job. She works for our ALPS department, and she'll talk to you about the home language survey. There you go, Norma.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for your participation today. I am Norma Blasquez from our bilingual department, and today I'm going to review, going back to what Ceci was just talking about, bullet number 1. What is it? How does the student qualify for bullet number 1, which was unable to speak or comprehend the English language? Okay. During your registration, you will be asked to fill out a home language survey. Okay. In that home language survey, there's 3 questions, which are documented here in your screen in yellow. It is very critical that you read and understand the purpose of and importance of the home language survey. So the 3 questions are: which languages are used at home? Which languages are used by the child at home? And if the child, question number 3 will be, if the child had previous home setting, which languages were used? If there was no previous home setting, of course, the answer will be NA, not applicable. This home language survey was updated this year, and so we're still working in our system to meet the requirements from TA for it to have it electronically. So keep in mind that you will have to go to the campus. They will probably either call you or you will have to go. This is a document that you're going to have to fill out in a paper pencil version for now. Okay. Again, the importance of that is that once you put if there's any other language other than English in any of those 3 questions, the campus must assess your son or daughter for their English proficiency. Then the state language proficiency assessment for identification will be applied, and which is a pre-loss assessment. And if the student qualifies, they will be coded as limited English proficient or emergent bilingual, and then they will be part of our LPAC process, and then they will be taking TELPAS and for them to show that the language gains year after year until they meet the reclassification criteria, which I will review in a little bit in the next slide. A parent can deny services, but the code, once we code the student as an emergent bilingual, cannot be removed until the student actually meets the reclassification criteria. The Language Proficiency Assessment Committee will recommend the required bilingual or ESL program for the student once the student is identified, and of course they will communicate with you for that parent approval. Again, the importance of these 3 questions are critical because that will determine not only, if the student is an emergent bilingual, but most important, what kind of services for language and academic can we offer your son or daughter to be successful in the school setting. In the next slide, like I said, once the student is coded, in order for them to exit and the limited English proficiency status, they have to meet the reclassification criteria. This begins as early as 1st grade when the student meets the reclassification criteria of gaining a composite score after they take the TELPAS of advanced high. Again, you can see there on the bottom, advanced high is a student that is advanced high has the ability to speak using grade appropriate English with minimal to none support. Right. And so we want to make sure that we offer that support in order for them to be successful, like I said prior. Passing once they get into 3rd grade and up, they have to meet the composite score of advanced high plus pass the STAR reading in English with no designated supports. In 1st grade, 2nd grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, when there is no STAR assessment, we actually provide an Iowa assessment, and of course, right next to the composite score of advanced high in TELPAS. But if you have any questions, your campus does have our bilingual coordinators at the campus level. We also have our clerks at the campus level that can support you. And of course, you have us. You can always communicate for any questions in regards to this particular slides that I just reviewed with you.
Okay, thank you, Norma, for that information. So let's dig into what the district offers and what are some of the great choices that you have, okay? The very first program that I want to talk about is our preschool program. That's our newest program. This will be year 3 of our preschool program. Very, very popular and growing very quickly, okay? So we have the preschool and the collaborative program. We have a lot of great things going on in preschool. We have a knowledgeable staff. We have certified teachers and aides in our preschool classrooms. We have a smaller student to staff ratio than what is required by the state. The state requires 11:1, and in our preschool and preschool collabs, we have maybe even a 6:1 or 7:1 ratio. So a lot of our preschools and preschool collabs have 3 teachers, maybe even 4 teachers. So there's a lot of, the ratio is small, so the students have a lot of attention, which is great, okay? We always have best practices. We follow the early childhood outcomes, which are part of what the state requires for 3-year-olds. So we follow that. We are research-based. We have a curriculum that we purchase for 3-year-olds. So they have their own curriculum where they have math and science and reading and all of those that they're learning, and it is appropriate for 3-year-olds. We have diversity and inclusion. And then what parents really like is that our 3-year-olds are part of the campus and community. So if there's a parade, the 3-year-olds are part of the parade. They go to the library, they go to the special events. Whatever's happening in the school, they are part of that school. So that campus and community culture is really important as they start to grow in that campus, okay? So what is the schedule for our 3-year-old program? So it's 187-day calendar. So it is exactly like all the other programs in the school. You're going to come to school for 187 days. It's Monday through Friday. The important thing to note is that our preschool program is a half-day program in Isleta, okay? So our morning session runs from 7:45 to 11, and our afternoon session runs from 11:30 to 2:45, okay? We do have a very amazing partnership with Head Start, and the kids that are dual enrolled, that are enrolled both in Isleta ISD and in Head Start and qualify for both, are actually the kids that go all day. So they would go half day to a YISD, and then they would be bused and do the other half day at Head Start. So we do have quite a bit of kids who are dual enrolled, who the parents took advantage of that program, and so we are sharing the school day with Head Start for those kids, okay? So we offer preschool at 6 schools, okay? So on your screen, you can see where our preschool sites are. We have preschool at Sageland, we have preschool at Scottsdale, at Isleta Pre-K, at Parkland Pre-K, at Tierra del Sol, and at Edgemere. I can tell you that all of these sites are really popular. The parents really like them. They enroll them pretty quickly at all of them. So if this is something that interests you, then I really, really urge you to take advantage of that April 1st and get registered, okay? The ones that have the asterisk, so look at the screen, Sageland, Isleta Pre-K, Parkland Pre-K, and Edgemere, they have classes where the instruction is in Spanish, okay? So those are dual language classes that are available at those sites, okay? And then the campus can let you know more or less if it's like in Spanish in the morning and English in the afternoon. And so if you call Sageland, Isleta Pre-K, Parkland Pre-K, and Edgemere, they'll let you know that. At Scottsdale, both sections are in English, and at Tierra del Sol, both sections are in English. Okay, so once again, those are the campuses where that preschool is being offered. I love this quote by Ms. Ronquillo. Our children left the Isleta Preschool Collaborative Program with a strong foundation and a love for learning. It really is an amazing program. Our 3-year-olds are flourishing. I'm just amazed at the growth when we go in there and see what these children are doing. And it's done in a fun and loving way. That's very appropriate for their age. They're engaged, they're having fun, and they're learning, and they're thriving. They really, really are. So our preschools program is doing really well. It's the newest one, but our numbers are growing steadily every year, and the program is doing really well. Okay, let's talk about pre-K and kindergarten, okay? So what does pre-K and kinder in Isleta look like? Okay, so a couple years ago, the state mandated full day pre-K, and so we were one of the first ones to go ahead and go forward with full day pre-K. So pre-K and kindergarten are full day at the campuses. We provide a safe environment, of course. We want to make sure that the children are safe at all times. We have a state certified teacher for both. And in our pre-K classrooms, we have a teacher assistant. So in the pre-K classrooms, there's not only a teacher, but there's a teacher assistant. So we easily meet the 11-to-1 criteria that is recommended by the state. So we've always had TAs in Isleta, and we've always had more than one person in these classrooms to work with the kids so that the kids are never alone. In both pre-K and kinder, we have engaging curriculum. Kinder has curriculum for the different contents, and in pre-K we use 3 tiers that has all of the contents. Okay, of course in kinder we follow the TEKS, and in pre-K we follow the pre-K guidelines. In both of them we have amazing instruction in literacy, math, science, and social skills. Okay, and I just want to remind you that in Isleta, pre-K is universal. That means you don't have to qualify. The only criteria that you need to meet for your child to attend pre-K in Isleta is the birthday. They have to be 4 by September 1st. Okay, you don't have to qualify for pre-K. And once again, I'll tell you that we are in open enrollment. We have a lot of transfer students that come to Isleta from other parts of the city. So we also accept transfers. You don't even have to live within the boundaries of Isleta for your child to come to early ed here. Okay, so there are the pre-K sites. We're at Eastwood Heights, Glen Cove, Loma Terrace, Pasadena, Presa, Riverside, Scottsdale, Vista Hills, East Point, Edgemere, Lancaster, Parkland Pre-K, Pebble Hills, Ariel, Sageland, Tierra, and Isleta Pre-K. So it is spread out all over the district, and at these, I think there's 17 sites that offer pre-K. Most of them offer at least 2 sections. And then just quickly to point out, Isleta Pre-K and Parkland Pre-K, those are campuses that is all early ed. So they have preschool and pre-K there. So they have quite a number of students that attend those. Okay. Okay, what about kindergarten? Well, we offer full day kindergarten in all of our elementary campuses. Now I'm not going to read them, but they're on the screen. So every campus that is an elementary campus in Isleta offers full day kindergarten, and there's instruction in English full day and in Spanish full day at these campuses. Okay, so you can see that we have a wide variety of opportunities at all of the campuses for students to attend kindergarten. Okay, now remember the criteria, the only criteria for kindergarten is going to be the birthday. Again, those babies have to be 5 by September 1st. Okay, so what do I need to register online? Okay, the birthday is the big one. Okay, for preschool, the child must be 3 years old by September 1st, and that year is wrong. So it's 3 years old by September 1st of 2024. For pre-K, the child must be 4 years old by September 1st of 2024, and in kinder, the child must be 5 years old by September 1st of 2024. So of this year. Okay, and then here on that screen, you have the documents that are required for registration. You're going to need to bring a parent, you're going to need to submit a parent photo ID, the social security card, the updated immunization record, the original birth certificate, the current monthly utility bill, and proof of income. Okay. Now the campus, once you do the online registration, if there's any additional information needed, our amazing attendance clerks will reach out to you and let you know that they need something else to complete your registration. Okay. Okay, so here's some questions that people ask and some frequently asked questions and some answers. So how do I register on April 1st? You're going to go to the Isleta webpage and you'll register online at the district webpage. There'll be a button there that says like register now. You're going to click on that button and then you will be able to register online. Okay, so the registration is online. Our campuses will also be open to everybody the first week of registration, and I want to say it's the Wednesday, so that'll be posted on social media in the evenings from 3 to 6, so that if you want to come in to register or you have questions, you're available to do that. Okay, in all our elementary campuses and the 2 pre-K campuses. Will the school contact me once I have completed the registration process? Yes, you will receive an email once the registration process is complete. For preschool and pre-K, the campus will call you once your online application is complete, and you will get an email. Okay, so you need to make sure that you complete the whole process. Okay, can I contact the campus if you have any questions? By all means, your point of contact is going to be the campus and the attendance clerk at the campus. Okay, you can always contact the campus for information. And then we talked quite a bit about this. So do I have to live within the YISD boundaries for my child to attend full-day pre-K or kinder at YISD? No. We are an open enrollment district, so you don't have to live within the boundaries for your child to attend preschool, pre-K, or kinder here in our district, okay? And then, of course, we're parents, so we want to know the meals. So the students receive breakfast and lunch. The PM preschool kids, of course, because they only come in the afternoon, they're going to receive lunch only, okay? Who do I call for more information? Your first point of contact, of course, is going to be the campus, okay? And then there's always a question about uniforms and school supplies. Many of the campuses are asking for uniforms, but if you reach out to the campus, they'll be able to give you more specific information about that. And then there's a question about potty training. So it says, for the safety of your child and others, it's highly recommended that children be potty trained, okay? It is not required, it's highly recommended, okay? So one more time, for the safety of your child and others, it is highly recommended that your child be potty trained. Accommodations can be made for medical and or disabling conditions, okay? In fact, we are such a proactive district that we're going to help you potty train your child if this is an issue, okay? So we offer free live and in-person potty training classes. So if you check with your campus for dates and times, we're offering them district-wide. We've been doing them for a while now, and they're very, very popular. And so we'll help you. If potty training is an issue, we'll help you so that we make sure that your child is potty trained, okay? And your campuses, of course, are going to have those dates and times for you, okay? Okay, and then we also started offering this course for parents, and it was hugely popular last year. It's called Common Sense Parenting for Toddlers. It's a 5-session series, and it's going to be October 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th, and November 5th. It is free to you as a parent in YISD. It's a fantastic training to help you with parenting of toddlers, 3, 4, 5-year-olds. We talk about expectations, we talk about rules, we talk about timeout, we talk about all of those important things, building relationships, all those important things that you need to help you with parenting for toddlers. And those are free, and so is the potty training. So we have a great program for parents here in the district where we offer training. And so those are free. And then I think the phone number is there so that you register for the session, okay? Okay, so let's look at the timeline, okay? So you are going to complete your registration by April 1st. There is an online commitment form that you can fill out that we're going to go ahead and post the link to, and you can go ahead and fill that out and let us know that you're interested. And once you fill out the online commitment form, that'll let us know what campus you are interested in registering for. So what we do on the back end is after April 1st, we talk to the registrars, and if we see that you haven't registered, we'll give them that information and say, Ceci Serna was interested in registering her child at Isleta Pre-K. Has she registered? No, maybe you might want to give her a call and see if she's having problems with the registration or what we can do to help her, okay? So registration goes live April 1st for everybody, okay? And then the first day of school is July 29th. I can tell you firsthand that some of our campus, our pre-K program is very popular, and some of our campuses fill up really quick, okay, depending on the location. So please, I can't urge you enough, take advantage of that April 1st window and get registered as soon as possible, okay? And now we're going to go ahead and look at this testimonial, okay?
I was a parent that thought that I was going to wait till kindergarten. I wanted to keep my son and daughter for a year, more and more year. But I think it's something that it's very important that we do, start him at pre-K. So something that I've learned from my son is that once he started here, he completely gained confidence. They taught him how to be confident, how to be himself. I think it's very important that at this early age, they're taught to be respectful, especially to respect their friends, their teachers, and have them learn love overall, kindness towards people. They just show you good manners, kindness, love, and that's something that I want my kid to learn and have her implemented since she's here.
Okay, so I love the testimonial. I love the fact that the parent was wondering, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe they're too little, and then when they took they went ahead and enrolled them, the child flourished, and that happens all the time. We hear so much from parents how well the children do once they enroll them in early ed. We have an amazing early ed program here in the district, top-notch, wonderful teachers, certified, caring, and our kids thrive and they do really, really well. So I highly encourage you to take advantage April 1st and register your child, okay? And then if you have any questions, we're going to break for questions. Yes? Okay, Greg, I can't. Go ahead.
Hi, Ceci. We do have several questions today. So thank you, parents, for putting your questions in the chat. Our first question is, are bilingual classes available?
Yes, they are. There are classes where instruction is in Spanish available for preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten. And I'm sure Norma will jump in also to help answer any of the questions.
Okay. So another question that addresses our bilingual classes are, and it's just stated this way: my kids are more efficient in English, but I would like for them to learn Spanish. Is that bilingual class, are these bilingual classes offered in YISD?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. So like Ceci mentioned in the slides prior, for your 3-year-old program, the ones that she coded with an asterisk, which are Sageland, if I can go back, Edgemere, Parkland, and Isleta Pre-K, if they offer dual language classrooms, because we are a dual language district, we welcome everybody. So it will be just a difference in the coding of the student. We have English proficient students participating in dual language, just like I reviewed those limited English proficient students that will be coded, that will qualify to participate. If we have a dual language, if the campus for 3-year-olds is coded dual language, we welcome those students that are English proficient to the campuses. Now, for your pre-K and kindergarten, as long as they offer a dual language, and the list that we reviewed prior in this video, if they offer pre-K and kinder, we have a bilingual classroom. And in that instance, the students that are coded emergent bilinguals and students that are English proficient are welcome to be part of our bilingual dual language campuses and classrooms, of course.
All right. Another question that we have today is, does Loma Terrace also have a pre-K class?
Yes, ma'am. Loma Terrace has 2 pre-K classrooms. They have one where instruction is in English, and they have one where instruction is in Spanish.
Okay. Next question. Is there a nap time for the full-time pre-K classes?
Yes, ma'am. And I should say yes, sir, because I think the questions are from, yes, sir, Greg. There is a rest time, and we do have a nap time for all of our pre-K students. Now, as the year progresses, the nap time decreases as we start to build their endurance to go into kindergarten. But the very first semester, they have the full nap time. Okay.
All right. And just clarifying here, do the 3-year-olds have to be fully potty trained?
They do not. It's highly recommended that they're potty trained, but they do not. And that's why if potty training is something that we need to work on, then I highly recommend that you attend our potty training classes. They're really, really good, and they really work, and we'll work with you to help you potty train your child. And all of the campuses have somebody there who is a trainer for potty training, and they can help you with the information and also maybe some of the resources that you're going to need. Okay.
Our next question deals with safety. What are we doing to keep our 3-year-olds safe at the campus? Um, I think there was concerns about possible um, just physical safety, mental safety, and it's speaking to a nurturing environment.
Right. So our preschools offer a very nurturing environment. A big part of our curriculum for preschool, pre-K, kindergarten, and all of our early ed is SEL, social and emotional development. So we really talk about social and emotional development, making sure that they're safe, making sure that they always feel included and part of a family. I told you that we have an excellent ratio in the classrooms in preschool and pre-K where there's more than one teacher, so that the student is always with an adult at all times, whether they go to the nurse, they go to the bathrooms are usually in the classroom. And then, of course, and Isleta safety is huge for us. Our schools have vestibules where you report to the vestibule, and we limit the outsiders that come into the building. So safety is a really big thing that we are very serious about, and we put a lot of attention to make sure that our kids are always safe.
Okay, and so Ceci, the second part of that question is, how are we helping our students speak up for themselves in case that they need to address any kind of situation that may arise?
And I think because, especially with our 3-year-olds, a very big thing that we work on, Greg, is oral language and teaching our children to speak and to speak up for themselves. Okay. Then the other side of that is that we really, really work on social and emotional development, especially with our little ones. Okay. And we have lessons from our counselors that have to do with kindness and different issues that we talk to the kids, so that we make sure that our children's voice is always heard. Okay.
Ceci,
All right.
I think it's also important to note that our campuses that have 3-year-olds have taken a lot of time and effort and planning to cater to that 3-year-old schedule, right? So the little ones are never left alone. There's always multiple adults that are watching them, not only in the classroom, but in the hallways. When they're moving from the bus to the classroom to cafeteria, there's a lot of supervision, not just with the classroom staff, but with administration, with the other monitors and people. Like we're all very protective of our little babies, our 3-year-olds. And so the campus staff as a whole, when they house those 3-year-old programs, are aware of the schedule and the comings and goings. And everybody's on the lookout to make sure that the babies are where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be. And for a sign of trouble, you're going to have multiple adults that are rushing to that situation. And to be honest, we're very proud of our 3-year-old classrooms, and we really haven't had a situation where we felt like, wow, we dropped the ball here. Like we put a lot of effort into planning that up front, and it's a very nurturing and a very safe environment for our little ones.
And I think, it's good to note also, everybody, that the amazing administration that there is at all of our early ed campuses. The administrators are really very proactive. They're really hands-on. They really are very involved with the early ed classes and making sure that they're safe, making sure that they have everything they need. And so we have some really great administration out there in all of our campuses that are really helping with early ed and all of its needs. Okay.
All right. Our next question is July 29th the first day of school for next year?
That is my understanding. July 29th is the first day of school. Correct, everybody?
Yes, and the
Yes.
reason for that being is that we are on a year-round schedule in Isleta, and as part of that, they may lose a little bit of time over the summer, but that is built into the schedule throughout the school year. So we have what we call our October intercession, which is 2 weeks of time off for kids in October, as well as our spring intercession that just occurred, which is another 2 weeks. Okay. Next question. What is the priority order for in-district transfer students for kindergarten?
You know what? I am going to ask whoever asked that question to email me, and we'll send that to Alex. Okay, because
can-
we have a department that I think would be more suited to answer that question. Leslie, did you want to add anything about transfers?
Yeah, I can give you the basics. And then I agree with Ceci. For the details, you're going to have to work with your registrar on your campus. But for transfer students, the request goes directly to the principal of the school that you want to attend. And there is an order. So priority goes to the students who live within the attendance area for that school. And then it goes to the students who live within district boundaries. And then it goes to students who live outside of district boundaries. And within the transfer policy, you'll note that there's qualifiers, right? So the big one for most of our schools is space, right? Which is why it's very important that you enroll as soon as you can so that we're aware that you want to enroll and you can get your seat on that campus. But what happens when the campus is full, principals may call you and say, hey, I don't have a seat on my campus right now. And then at that point, you have a choice to be on a waiting list, or we can help you find a seat at another nearby campus. And so, as Ceci mentioned earlier, we're an open enrollment district, and we encourage all of our folks to come, and we love it when every seat is taken. But please, if you're at a school and they don't have space, don't feel discouraged. Just work with that campus administrator and call any one of us, and we can help you find a space in our district, because we really do want to take our community members as much as we can.
And we've been really proactive about taking children that are on a waiting list and finding a slot for them. And sometimes it's just a couple of blocks down, or at one of the centers, or so we will always work with you if that campus is full to find an alternative for you so that your child can still attend the district.
Okay, we have another question. Is the commitment form the same as the transfer survey?
So the commitment form is not the same as the transfer survey. The commitment form that we're referencing is just information for us to make sure that you get the opportunity to register for preschool pre-K at the campus of your choice. So as Ceci said, all we do is we take that information and we share it with the campuses to say, hey, make sure that this family register, or maybe we should reach out to make sure that they're not having trouble with that registration. The transfer survey is actually the paperwork that you fill out to transfer in from outside of the attendance area or outside of the district. So it's two separate documents, and actually this team here that you're talking to doesn't have any access to the transfer survey. That's something that's exchanged specifically between you and the campus that you're trying to register for.
Okay. This one is addressing students that may possibly be nonverbal. Will nonverbal 4-year-olds be in a separate class? Do these classrooms have cameras?
Okay, so within our special education department, we have a full spectrum of services available. So there's actually more questions that I would have for our nonverbal 4-year-old. But in general, when a student has special needs, we will schedule your child for an evaluation and determine if they need a special kind of program to be in a special class that's built for children with more severe needs, or if they may have special needs and they can still be part of our collaborative program, or they could be part of a regular ed class with maybe some speech therapy or something like that. So the detail of your child's needs kind of drives those decisions. But if there's any concern when you register, what you want to do is just request that special education evaluation. And then the team on that campus will follow up with you to schedule the evaluation. Then we'll make time to meet, discuss the results of our evaluation, and then determine the programming for that child. It may be that your child is in what we call a self-contained special education class, or it may be, again, that they can receive services within the general ed. As far as cameras in the classroom, this is something that parents can request, and there are guidelines for cameras in the classroom. But generally, if a child with special needs is spending more than 50% of their day in a self-contained special education classroom, parents may request cameras be placed, and the district will have to follow that suit. And we do have many classrooms where that request has already been made. And so your child might be in a classroom where that has occurred. And when that is the case, then parents are notified that cameras are already installed in that classroom. And again, if they're not, you can request that, and then we would have to follow through, and we will.
Okay. Is April 1st the registration for everyone or just pre-K?
April 1st is registration for everybody, okay? It opens up on April 1st. The link goes live for everybody, okay?
All right, our next question. Are children's smartwatches allowed?
So we'd have to look at the parent handbook for the details of it, but there is a district policy for electronics, and so devices that allow for audio recording or video recording by district policy are not allowed. If you have a child with special needs where you need a certain kind of device for a specific reason related to their disability, there's some exceptions that can be made, but that would be determined, again, the same as with any other special programming. It would be an IEP committee decision that's documented in that child's record.
Okay, next question. Will there be opportunities for us to see the curriculum the 3-year-olds will be using?
Ceci, I think that tell me if I'm wrong, but when you register for preschool, pre-K, kinder, they have those trainings and meetings for parents early on, like the
Right.
orientation, right? That's where you're going to get the potty training class, or that's where you're going to meet the teacher, see the classroom. Within the context of those orientation meetings, teachers will present the curriculum.
That's
And
correct.
then again, if you need more detail, once school starts, you're in the classroom and you're working with your teacher. Those are questions that you can definitely work with your teacher on. But as part of orientation, they give you a general overview.
And orientation is really important because it's the child's chance to meet the teacher, so that on the first day of school, they're more relaxed and the parents are more relaxed because they already had that one-to-one chance. And most of the time during orientation, they're going to talk about schedules, they're going to talk about expectations, so talk about curriculum and all of that. Okay?
All right. The next question, does Eastwood Knowles have a bilingual pre-K? And I'm looking at our slides on pre-K
No.
sites, and
No,
they do not have a monolingual or a bilingual
that's correct.
pre-K.
That is correct. It's all around there. I mean, we have it everywhere. We have Edgemere, we have Eastwood Heights, we have Scottsdale, we have East Point. Everybody around there has pre-K, but Eastwood Knowles does not. Okay.
Okay. The next question, for our 3-year-olds, our 3-year-olds still have to meet the qualifications, the criteria.
That is correct. Yeah, for the 3-year-old program, you have to qualify for the 3-year-old program under the 7 qualification factors that we went through. Okay.
Our next question, do all pre-K schools have special education classes?
No, they do not. And there's different versions of special education classes. I can tell you that Isleta Pre-K and Parkland Pre-K have all of the kinds of special ed classes that you would need for a 3 or 4-year-old. Those are housed at both of the pre-K centers. And then for some of our satellite campuses, They do, because we generally partner our special ed classes with a general ed class team, but it depends on what kind of program, what school you might have. But if you have a child with an IEP and you're wondering which campus you won't need to register for, if you just call our number, which is the 4340900, we can help you find your campus. And I'll post that number again. It's the same number that you use for Common Sense Parenting. If you call this number 4340900, we can register you for Common Sense, and we can also help you find your campus if you have special needs. Okay.
All right. Mr. Diaz, Eastwood Heights does also have a pre-K class. Okay, they are a pre-K site.
Yes, they do, in English and in Spanish, in both languages. Yep.
Okay. If a child has a speech delay, will that disqualify the child?
That does not disqualify the child. If you have a child with special needs, there's literally nothing that will disqualify you. The only thing that you would want to do, depending on the severity of your child's special need, is request that special education evaluation so that we can determine what your kiddo needs and make sure that you start off on the right foot in the right class with the right services. And you actually don't have to wait until you don't have to wait for that. If you need to request an evaluation, you can call again this same number, 4340900, and we can schedule you for evaluation in April or May or June so that you have plenty of time before the first day of school to make sure that you have an IEP and all of the program and services in place before that first day of school.
Okay. All right. So back to our I just went blank on it. Sorry, Leslie. Our registration, the commitment link. Do parents need to fill out both a commitment and? Yes. Okay. Ceci's saying yes. So
The commitment form is just our internal documentation to know that you were interested in registration. The April 1st link that goes live on April 1st, the registration link, that will actually get you registered at a campus. Okay, so it's really important that on April 1st you log on to the district webpage and you click on the button and you finish the registration process. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ceci. One more question. We had a participant come in a little bit late. They missed the 7 requirements. Do veterans' children qualify? And I guess this is addressing the 3-year-olds because we're open enrollment for pre-K and kinder.
Okay, so those are the requirements. And let me take that banner down so you can see the full page.
Okay, this is where because it says the child of an active duty member of the armed forces. Okay, so and then it also says the child of a member of the armed forces who was injured or killed while serving on active duty. But I'm gonna ask you to email me, and I'm gonna give you my email address in a while, and in a couple of slides, and we'll forward that to Alex, who is in charge of PEMS and registration, and then he can answer that question to let you know about somebody who is retired from the military. Okay.
All right. We do have a few more questions. Do we register them April 1st at the campus, or is it only for online?
April 1st, registration opens online. Okay. Our campuses are planning to be open Thursday, April 4th. All of the elementary campuses plus the 2 pre-K campuses from 3 to 6. If you want to come in and register in person, or if you have questions or you want to see the campus, we're having kind of like a meet the district night on April 4th, Thursday. So if you're interested, there's going to be more information posted on the website about that. I'm just giving you some early information. So you can do it then. But the registration process, most of our parents register online, okay?
And if I can add, Ceci, just as I review the home language survey, going back to the process, you'll be called and or you can go to the campus, because this year, because of the requirements and because there was an update on the home language survey, every student that is enrolling new to our district will have to go to the campus to fill out the home language survey.
Okay, and Norma, I noticed there's a question regarding 3-year-olds. If the child has a speech impediment, would they still qualify under the language requirements?
So if just like I reviewed before, the first thing that we looked at for registration for any student, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, kindergarten, or anybody that's new to our district, we go based on the home language survey. So if the question, if the answer to the 3 questions that I reviewed earlier indicate any language other than English, we'll go ahead and start the process for testing. And then we will go ahead and do the pre-LAS on the student. And then based on those results is that we will actually let you know if the student is indeed an emergent bilingual or learning English as a second language and qualifies under that bullet number 1.
And so if I can add on, for children with special needs, that process is exactly the same. Okay, in some cases, the student has a language delay in both English and Spanish, or they're, for example, nonverbal. If they take the lot, they're still going to take the pre-LAS, and if the score does not show them proficient in English, they're going to get the LEP code, but we still determine their placement based on their needs. So if you need to be in a monolingual English class, then you can do that. The code doesn't change that necessarily. And if you need to be in a bilingual class, you can do that as well. But the point is if you don't get the right score on the pre-LAS, you're going to get that code. And eventually, after the student has received instruction for a couple of years, if you have a child with special needs, your IEP committee is going to determine when to exit from the bilingual program or if they stay in the bilingual program. So either way, your special need, your disability does not disqualify you from any services, and your child will still have to go through the same process that any child would have to go. There's no exceptions for special needs in that case.
Yes, Leslie. And then in addition to that, what your special education department, along with your LPAC, once they're coded, will collaborate and then make that decision for the student to be moved to wherever the best support system for them.
Okay, we have a couple of more questions that have come up. Do all locations provide transportation? My daughter currently goes to Parkland, but if she doesn't get in next year, all the other locations are around 25 minutes away.
The only 2 campuses that provide busing transportation right now are the pre-K centers, YISD pre-K buses and Parkland pre-K buses. The other ones, because the pre-K is housed within the elementary, there is not busing available. Okay, so the only 2 that bus at this time are YISD pre-K and Parkland pre-K.
Okay, our next question. Is there a time that the website registration link goes live on April 1st?
I'm thinking 12 o'clock, April 1st.
That's what I was thinking. I think it's kind of an automated
Right.
thing.
Right.
Okay. Another question is, can siblings pick up the student in case of an emergency?
Is the sibling a full-blown adult or a 10-year-old would be my question. So for when you do the emergency contact card for your child on your campus, you can designate people, adults, that are allowed to pick up and drop off your child, right? And so if it's a sibling that, say, is 18 years old and has a driver's license that can prove, then that can happen. You just have to make sure that it's on the emergency contact card. And again, whoever's picking up that student would have to sign into the office, show proof of ID, and then we can release that student if the documentation is in place.
And we're very, very careful with all of our students, especially our littles, So it's gonna need to be an adult, and they're gonna have to show identification.
All right. At this time, I don't believe there are any more questions.
Okay, we have one more slide, I think, right, Leslie?
Oh, okay, we do. Hold on. Let me get us back to that. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to do it this way. There you go.
Okay, so on behalf of our wonderful friends from SPED, Greg and Leslie, and our wonderful friend from ELPS, Norma, we want to thank you very much for joining our town hall to learn about our amazing early ed programs that we offer here in the district. On the screen, you see my contact information. If I can help you with anything, finding a school, you have questions on registration, questions on curriculum, anything, please feel free to call me and I'm happy to help you. If you have any special ed questions, Leslie's number is there. She's happy to help you. We're super excited and can't wait for you to join the district. Our early ed programs are amazing, and you're going to be very happy that you made this choice. So remember, registration goes live April 1st. So let's be proactive, get registered, and get our slot, okay? So thank you very much, and you have a nice evening. Everybody else, you have anything else to say?
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Signing off.